Over recent years, Lagosians have been waking up to shattered windows, stolen vehicle parts, and the constant threat of their cars being targeted, whether parked on the street or even in their own driveways. This growing trend has sparked widespread concern, not only for vehicle owners but for the overall safety of the city's infrastructure. Car vandalism has become a multifaceted issue, impacting businesses, individuals, and even public safety. While many attribute it to rising unemployment and economic challenges, others see it as a result of the insufficient security measures across the city. The financial losses are staggering, and the emotional toll on victims is immense. LagosTalks set out to speak with key stakeholders to uncover the root causes of this problem and explore potential solutions. How can we as a society protect our vehicles and, more importantly, our peace of mind? Let's find out. Okay, you're listening to 91.3 LagosTalks, and it's special, like we've been saying for the past couple of days. We are doing this to address a social issue that has been bedeviling Lagos. And I know it's been bordering other parts of the country, but we want to focus today on Lagos and even make a particular part of Lagos a case study. So welcome. This is LagosTalks 91.3. My name is Kolawole Falodun. Okay, if you've seen the pre-sale materials, you have an idea of who is with me in the studio right now. But essentially, the conversation is about car vandalism in Lagos. It's quite important to note that as of 2019, and I know that the data might have changed over time, Lagos State has over 5 million cars, if not more. And of course, 200,000 plus or minus vehicles. Like I said, since 2019, it must have changed. And this translates to an average of 227 vehicles per kilometer. Now, this is significantly higher than the national average of 11 vehicles per kilometer. Additionally, Lagos is one of the most congested cities in terms of human beings, as far as humans are concerned, as far as cars are concerned, making it a very fertile ground for criminality that has to do with vehicles. Okay, so we know that the state government has been putting in measures to curb crime, and it's just been a roller coaster for a long time. I know recently, a while ago, the state banned motorcycles, aka Okadas, from plying the roads. Recently, the government directed law enforcement agencies to apprehend motorists with defective or missing vehicle registration number plates. So that has been in place, and many other interventions by the state government. But however, there are still other ways that vehicle owners are being targeted in Lagos. So there's a problem to sort. So this evening, our job is to unpack what has been happening in different nooks and crannies in Lagos State, Nigeria. Listening to 91.3 LagosTalks. So right now, I'm going to play you a clip, okay? I'm going to play you a clip, and this clip is me just a couple of weeks ago speaking with some stakeholders from LERA, that's the Lekki Residents Association of Lagos. I spoke to Sir Malaki Ezeoke, he's the Vice Chairman, Lekki Residents Association, LERA. I also spoke to Agu Imo, the Chairman, Security Committee, Sub-Zone 3, Lekki. And I spoke to a security manager at Reebok Sub-Zone 3 that goes by the name Kome Oko.
Good afternoon. My name is Sir Malaki Uche Ezoke. I'm the Vice Chairman of Lekki Residents Association. This incident of break-ins and destruction of people's cars and taking away of vital parts is it used to happen once in a while. You see this kind of thing, and suddenly there's an upsurge in the occurrence. It's become really scary that almost every zone or almost every part of Lekki has witnessed one form of it or the other. In fact, the recent ones we've been hearing is that these people are now even coming in disguise as policemen. That's the latest one that was reported 2 days ago, that they came as policemen. So the estate is trying in its own way, within its own capabilities and resources, to try to handle this situation. But I must tell you, it's beyond the estate. Because these people, if they can go ahead and disguise themselves as fake policemen and fake soldiers, then how can we know the real one from the bad one?
So what has the association done so far to contain the situation?
This surge in break-ins and of cars especially, I would say, has spiked recently, and the association is not sleeping. We have a security team that is attached to the association, or that is in our payroll. So we have mobilized them and given out the numbers of the CSO to their various zones, that if they have any attack, that they should contact the CSO immediately to dispatch a team to come to their rescue. But sometimes most of these things get reported when they have finished their operations, and people realize what has happened when these people are already on their own. And with this, the association is really handicapped. But we are also planning some countermeasures and contacting the police to help us. And I believe that if our application to, for example, the AIG and other arms of the police is confirmed in the nearest future, we will have more police presence, and definitely, maybe we pray that some of these culprits will be caught.
My name is Agu Imo. I am Vice Chairman of Subzone 3, Ribog. In the last couple of weeks, there has been a spike in this incident. In the past, in the distant past, these things happen once in a while. But like in the last 3 months or so, it has been virtually a weekly occurrence. They operate early in the morning, ordinarily, between about 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. It would appear that they were armed, but we find out that they don't seem to be armed. They just give the impression that they are armed because no gunshots have ever been shot. They have taken out everything electronic inside these vehicles, especially Toyota Prado Jeeps and the highest cars, those kind of cars. They take out everything. They take the brain box, they take the music systems, they take everything that is electronic, and they do it within a period of about 10 minutes or less. So it is presupposed that they have backgrounds, that they have like mechanics, or they have mechanical knowledge at the speed and the rate at which they do it. People are afraid, they can't be sure. It means that a lot of people don't want to, any movements they hear in the evenings alarms them, and they also want the gates to be brought back and security enhanced. And of course, with the gates coming back, if they're just completely locked up, then it means that there's also a double hazard, because nobody wants to be completely locked into your neighborhood. But there's fear, there's palpable fear, and there's anxiety, and there's worry. There are lots of people just loitering around in Lekki. Lekki Phase 1 seems to be like a haven, presupposing the rich around, surrounded by lots of ghettos. So people come inside here and prey on the people. The police do lots of arrests, but what happens is that when you arrest these people, the law says that within 24 hours you have to charge or release. So you arrest them and then they get released. So what we have been hoping for and what we are looking for is to have a mobile court here, so that when these people are caught, they can immediately be charged and then taken away.
My name is Kome Oko. I'm a security manager, which is Chief Security Officer. I am under Subzone 3, which is Reebok, that comprises of different streets and estates that is under my care. This occurrence of vandalization is a well-coordinated plan, because what we discovered they do is they select specific houses. They know the type of houses they want to go to. They study the place very well, which most likely is always during the day, because they come in exotic cars, which will be kind of difficult for you to identify. Like my zone, what we do is both during the day, if we suspect a particular vehicle, especially when there are more than 2 people inside, we kind of find out where they are going to, wanting to know. Most times they say, oh, we're going to so place, so that. So we ask questions. Precisely on the 4th of July, this month, when we had our own experience, it was between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. So I got a call by 4:35 a.m. from a neighbor of the resident that was being attacked, because he wasn't around. So like I said, the way these people do their stuff, they kind of target a particular house. Once they know the resident is not in town, it's just the security or any other person in the building, they strike, because obviously they've done their study during the day. They give the impression that they are harmed, and from what we have been able to gather, because we have lots of hotels around, so they lodge in during the day, so it's kind of difficult for you to get the particular place they are coming from. As a team, what my zone has been doing is we have started making use of codes. So if you don't have the code, you can't come in. Even if you do have the code and we are kind of not satisfied, we won't grant you access. We have to ask you to call the person you want to go and see. And if we don't get a response, we'll ask you to turn back. And you know the way sometimes it is, because of the nature of Lekki, they will find another way to get into where they are going to. If a crime is to be committed or is committed, there must be an insider. You understand? There must be an insider. So we have that feeling that most of this vandalization that is being carried out, there are people within that conspire with these guys outside. We have the patrol team on speed dial. So since after that incident, there is always a speed dial. The present DPO that we have seems to be a father of 4 that wants things to work well in his jurisdiction. So there is that platform. If we can't reach him, he gave us somebody else's number that we can reach immediately, and they come to our aid immediately. And at the same time, the entire Lekki Resident Association also have their own security team that whenever we call upon them, they are always around. If it's more than them, they now get to call the bigger picture, which is the entire police force. They come to our aid. There's a specific, if it's not a Toyota Prado, it is Toyota Corolla, but it is 95% is Toyota Prado. 95%. I can give you my word on that. People park in their compound. We have a particular, my zone, we have a particular time limit for you to park outside. And once it's that time, you come and pay sticker on your vehicle, and the moment you see it, you quickly take your vehicle inside. So like I stated earlier, what they do is, from our findings, they target specific houses that they can see through the gates, and oh, this is the car, this is the particular brand we're looking for, and they will strike. How and when they strike, we don't know. We only get the information after they have struck.
How convinced are you that this is something that is being aided by an insider?
I am 100% convinced, because we have so many automobile workshops around, and they are always capable of doing anything. Take for instance, I have a damaged vehicle and I take it to them and they bill me a huge amount. And I say, oh, I can't afford this. As I'm going, one of the workers now come, okay, I can do this for you at a cheaper rate. That's alarming. And believe you and I know the way parts are expensive now. So if a particular person now comes and tell me I will do it at a cheaper rate for you, I should be very, very suspicious that where is he going to get these parts? So it's also a big dilemma we are facing. Most of the complaints the police force used to give them was they don't have much men. So they are kind of handicapped in that side, because almost simultaneously the same officer that you are calling is also attending to something else. So like I said earlier, the DPO has been trying to see how they will get more men to cater for the entire Lekki residents.
After hearing directly from members of the community where the most recent attack took place, we knew more needed to be done. To get a comprehensive view of this ongoing menace, we convened a robust roundtable discussion. This included key stakeholders such as the police public relations officer, a renowned security expert, and an automobile specialist. Together, they helped shed light on the challenges, solutions, and preventive measures we all need to be aware of.
If we want to tabulate and check estates that have experienced car vandalism and estates that have not, you would still see that most estates have not experienced this. I understand that vandalism is bad, so the few estates that have experienced it, where these things happen, it would make news. It's newsworthy. So it would go round and round and round. So I just want to correct that impression.
You don't think it's rampant?
From statistics, no, it's rampant, but it's not like the way. It's not like it happens in majority of neighborhoods. Majority of neighborhoods don't experience this. Talking about statistics, no, it's rampant, yes, but not in majority of neighborhoods. Now, I discovered that where these things happen is where they have some laxity in their security architecture. And where they don't happen is where they abide by all their own internal security rules. So where people don't follow due diligence, then surely there will be breakdown in security. But one thing that I found consistent, one thing I found consistent all the time is that these vandals target places where they know, but I don't know how they get to know, but they target places where they know that they don't really have functional CCTV.
Is that true? Okay.
Yes, because the cases of vandalism that we not all, but most of the cases of vandalism that we have solved, we had great help from CCTV footages. It helps.
Okay, let me pause you there, SP Ondane. In a nutshell, how would you assess the effectiveness of your people, law enforcement? I know you can speak for your people, the Lagos State Police Command, in combating car vandalism. How has the efforts been so far? Is it satisfactory in your own opinion? How has it been?
Well, you need to understand that security is not just for the police; it's for everybody. So you play your part. Put security gadgets on your car. If it's valuable to you, put it on your car. Don't park carelessly. Some people just park carelessly. If you have security guards in your estate, for example, make sure they are well vetted and they are trustworthy, because we've had reasons to arrest security guards and it turned out that they knew about it. So how well have we been able to handle it depends largely on the people playing their part. So like I said, the cases that we have solved, we did because the people did their part. They were able to provide sometimes documentation of the security guards. They were able to provide CCTV footages, and once they gave us what we needed, it was easy to arrest the criminals, and they were able to learn from it, and such did not happen again.
Okay, so we'll come back to you because we're going to have a victim join the conversation. He would stay anonymous. He has pleaded to stay anonymous. But let's take the mic over to our engineer, who is an auto mechanic and also an expert in car parts. According to the clip we played earlier on, we realized that it seems like a specific car brand is being targeted, and he mentioned the Prado, the SUV, and that's for Lekki, right? So, Engineer Oluwakaide,
yes.
Do you have to be knowledgeable about cars generally for you to successfully burgle a car and take out the parts?
Yeah. See, everyone that goes to vandalize someone's vehicles have the in-depth knowledge, because you cannot tell me where the brain box of a vehicle is being hidden. A novice could just go there, pull out, break the glass, and go straight to that point. Where the brain box is located, if you don't know anything about vehicle, you won't know. Do you understand? And you can't just walk into a car and tell me you just want to go and into a module or a transponder of a vehicle if you are not a vehicle expert. Even the people that go to terminate people's battery, carry it from their vehicle and go with it, they knew where to go and pull out the cable without no alarm and do what? And just go straight to this vehicle and see them. And most of the people that go to vandalize this vehicle, trust me, they used to go with a very massive magnet.
What is a magnet for?
The magnet, if you place it at the right location of where the anti-theft of a vehicle is, you won't hear no single alarm.
Oh, wow.
So there's no how you want to tell me that anyone that's going to vandalize someone's vehicle won't have the in-depth knowledge.
So would you say the auto mechanic community accomplices it in some way?
I'm part of them. Do you
Okay.
get my point? I know myself, and I can talk for myself. But other people I cannot speak for. Because part of the people that were apprehended before, will find mechanic among them, will find panel beater among them. Do you understand? So, but I can only speak for myself right on the radio. So you can't go and vandalize someone's vehicle without having the in-depth knowledge.
All right, quick one. Final question, at least for now. So the Prado SUVs seem to be the easy targets. Give us an idea of the market value of the parts, the components on the dashboard, the controls on the door, and every other part in a nutshell.
If we talk about the brain box of a Prado and the brain box of Hilux are the same thing. If you have a 2GR engine in Prado, you have 2GR engine in Hilux. They drive the same synergy with brain box, key respondent, and door handles. They have the same thing. So the prices of this brain box that we're talking about 2 million naira.
For a Prado?
Yes.
Does it depend on the recency of the
from 2019 till date?
Okay.
The prices has been in the same category. Do you understand? So if you just terminate one brain box successfully, trust me, you get some money. So they are not targeting just on Prado, Hilux, Camry 2017, Camry 2018. Their electronics part are crazily expensive. So those are including Corolla 2007. Once you terminate the brain box, you sell it at an expensive price.
That magnet thing you mentioned is quite interesting, but we'll come back to that. Let's talk to Mr. Alfred right now, who is also a security expert. So my question to you is, what role do you think residents have to play in at least ensuring a great deal of security at the community level?
Well, I think one of the incentives to crime is social behavior. When people do not take into cognizance their safety and act with some level of impunity in managing their privacy, that exposes them to unanticipated threats. Now, what I mean by this is that in Lekki, for instance, about 80% of the crimes reported to the police were directly implicated security guards. And when you go into that, you find that over 60 to 70% of employed domestic guards are not documented. They have no vetting history. And in most cases, even the employers do not know where they come from. They were either employed as referrals or they were people who wandered around. And I'll give you the reason why. Ikoyi prison is next door to Lekki, and so are other prisons across the country. Now, the first need of our next convicts, people who are newly discharged from prisons or jailbreakers, is accommodation. They need a place to hide. And once they find a place, the next necessity that they will pursue will be, how do they sustain themselves? So the most likely and cheap or cheaply available employment will be security. And they come in, get employed as guards, either introduced by proxies or by so-called agents. And residents will employ them and take them in as guards. That provides them a good cover and alibi.
So you said there's a gap in due process when it comes to vetting.
If it's gap,
the kind of people who make up the security apparatus of communities.
Our security consciousness is near zero because the culture of it doesn't matter seems to override that exigence of knowing that, look, I must think safety, and I must live safely.
We have SP Benjamin Ondain, the PPRO for Lagos Police Command, is here with us. We have engineer Oluwakayode Oshorun, is an auto mechanic and an expert in car parts. We also have Mr. Alfred Ononugbe with us. But so right now, I want us to speak to a victim who is going to join us via Zoom. And he will just relay his his experience. Let's even see if indeed some of the things that have been highlighted so far, like negligence and vetting the kind of security personnel that guard a space or a community. Let's even see if that was the case in his own situation. So our guest, who joins us via Zoom, is a victim. How are you doing today? Welcome.
Yeah, how are you doing there? Kola, good evening.
Welcome. Very well, very well. Okay, so we just want to hear from you. Give us your experience. I'm sure you must have been hearing the feedback from our gentlemen in the studio. Tell us about what your experience was. How did it happen? And what the situation in terms of security measures are in your place of residence.
Okay, thank you very much, Kola. I live in Lekki Phase 1. But before I begin to talk about my experience, I'll just make a general observation that up until recently, the incidence of vandalization of cars had been cars that are parked on the streets, in public places, and so on and so forth. The incidence of breaking, violation of people's premises is a recent occurrence, and that happens to be what happened to me. The perpetrators, or the vandals, if I'll call them that, entered my house in a car that is safely parked within my premises, and this premises is well lit. It is what's the word now? There is a gate, and from what we saw, the gate was broken open. I don't know whether it was at the point of entry or at the point of exit, because I have a fairly high gate and fairly high surrounding walls. So it's possible they broke the pedestrian entrance into the place upon entry. I wouldn't want to imagine that they scaled the walls, because my neighboring houses, my neighboring walls are all high fence and habited. Having said that, the experience I had is about 7 weeks ago. In fact, tomorrow we'll make it exactly 7 weeks. On the night of June 20 into June 21. And like I said, the people came into my premises, and I was actually meant to travel that morning.
Okay.
And I was preparing to go to the airport when my attention was drawn to the fact that, in fact, the question was, did I deliberately leave my gate open? And this was with the security guard that lives in my house, that looks after my place. Did I deliberately, because I go out early in the mornings for exercise. So I said, how will I leave the gate open? And so I came and he said, the car is, that even the car door is open. So I quickly rushed downstairs, and behold, the entire car was stripped bare.
Okay, so hold on. Let me just pause you there and get some facts over the line. So you live in a gated compound with a high fence, and you have a security personnel who mans the place, or who watches over the place.
Yes, I'll call him a gate man.
Okay, he's a gate man, not a trained security person. Okay, now, so your compound, is it inside an estate? Confirm that now. Is it inside a secured estate?
You know how Lekki Phase 1 is? Lekki Phase 1 is a layout.
Okay.
So there is no estate per se, but I would describe my house as part of a close and part of a sub-zone. We are supposed to have that is gated somehow. But we all know what happened in Lekki towards the end of last year, when the government removed all the gates towards Christmas. And that act of removing the gates in my mind, had kind of killed whatever arrangements we had, because by the time we found our way to retrieve the gates, or what remained of the gates, our coding system for in and out of our enclosure had been stopped.
Okay.
And
yeah,
part of the measures we took was shutting off some of the streets, to control points of in and out, which the act of removing those gates had made nonsense of. So you would say that the part of Lekki Phase 1 that I live in is wide open.
Can you confirm if there's CCTV surveillance gadgets installed where you stay?
Not in my house. These are issues of affordability. I've had to do it after this experience. I never had it before because I didn't believe I needed it.
Well, how about the neighbor? How about the close where you stay? Do you perhaps know if any of the other houses have some sort of CCTV surveillance system in place? Not on
the street as a communal thing, but I'm aware that the house opposite me, that they have a cameras installed around the house, some facing the street and all that. As a matter of fact, because the day my house was attacked, the house opposite me suffered the same fate. Similar cars were taken at the same time.
All right.
My neighbor wasn't at home. It was the wife that experienced it. She didn't know anything had happened overnight until she came down to take her son to school, and behold, the car was stripped bare. And
what kind of car was that? What kind of car is it?
My car is a Lexus GX 460. My neighbor's vehicle is a Hilux, brand new. My car is about 16,000 miles. It's practically new.
Okay. All right. Can you wrap it up in just a few seconds so we can progress? Yeah.
Like I said, he has a camera. He told me, when he came back, that reviewing the camera, that he saw the people who came for this operation, that they were in a Lexus 470.
So they came in a car. Okay.
They came in a car.
All right.
And that the car parked for a while. Maybe they were trying to decide what to do. And that there were four gentlemen.
Okay.
One was manning the steering.
We heard what he said. I'll just give a few 2-3 minutes for us to react. I'll start with Engineer Oluwakayode. He has mentioned a few things. I mean, from the car perspective, what did you make out of what he said?
Yeah, well, for me, my little experience I've seen is, if your security is not adequate, sincerely, you have this experience. He said the car is parked in the compound and he does not have the, the real items to show or to tell us how guarded the place is.
It's not secure. It's not entirely secure with CCTV.
Is being to vandalizing a vehicle.
Mr. Alfred?
Recently, the communities along the coastal lines were what's the right word?
Yeah.
They were, removed.
Yes.
And the influx into Lekki also should be expected, that those people found their way.
Do you think the gate situation must have exacerbated the problem?
Well, the removal of the gates, of course, encouraged them access. Now that the gates are restored, they've already known their terrains and they've done their homework. So they're basically harvesting from a prudent assessment of the vulnerabilities.
All right.
Phase 1.
All right. Mr. Ondeng?
I visited an estate, and despite the fact that the person I was visiting spoke with the security men at the gate before I was allowed to enter, I parked in front of that person's house, and the person did not come out for some minutes. I was so impressed that the security men in that estate were still strolling on foot. I mean, they were just walking and they saw me in the car. The engine was running. They had to stop by me and ask.
What area of Lagos is this?
So that kind of thing.
What area of Lagos is this?
This is Ikeja,
Okay.
GRA.
Okay.
So the anonymous caller said the Lexus SUV was parked for some time. They were deciding what to do. So if they had an active security network, somebody should have stopped by to say, can we help you? What do you want to do there? So it all comes down to security.
Okay. Let's go back to our victim, who is still anonymous. So, I mean, what do you think? How would you assess the security situation in your neighborhood? Do you have full confidence that it's where it should be, and this was an out of the blue situation? What's your assessment of the situation?
I must say that, in fact, as a community, we just terminated the services of this particular group that was working here.
Okay.
Because my personal view is that they are hopeless and useless. And the issue is most of these companies that do security just pick up vagrants on the road, give them uniform, so they're not trained in any way to offer security, proper security.
Okay,
services.
let me pause you this, because we have a security expert here who would love to react to what you just said in a nutshell. Quickly, Mr. Alfred.
Yes, I think first of all, we must realize that security is expensive. Most residents pay peanuts to security people and expect them to perform the duty.
Well, Mr. Alfred, do you work with the peanuts payments, or
course,
do you tell them to do the needful and get the adequate quality?
And often they'll tell you that it's a community thing. They don't
So you work with the peanuts.
So they have, for instance, a gate that should be manned by 8 men, being manned by 2 people. So they are inadequately empowered, and the manpower level is so low.
Okay.
2, there's no professionalism. They cannot afford the experts.
Mr. Alfred, what are your thoughts? I haven't heard all the angles and analyzed the situation. What's your assessment, and how do you think we can proceed with this social problem?
There's no quick fix to it. Like I said, the economic meltdown is a factor. Criminal behaviors are influenced by values and, of course, the environment. If people cannot afford basic livelihoods, definitely they will resort to trying to breach the city to survive. We have inherent disposition to crime. Every human being has about 20% inherent disposition.
Is that scientifically proven?
So, yes, it is scientific. So
I want to be very sure I'm not part of that.
It progresses depending on the environment and the kind of contact you have, within you.
Okay.
So, having said that, people also should live within their means. A lot of us are exhibiting impunity with wealth that we do not know their source. So, when you do that in front of people who are hopelessly needy, you are inciting them to explore means and avenues of having a feast on the little you have.
Let's hear from Engineer Oluwakayode now.
This is not going to leave the system any time from now, because spare parts are getting more expensive every day. And I'm telling you, from now until December, you're going to buy a brain box for 3 million, 4 million naira. And what they target is the brain box, the transponder of a vehicle, the controls of a vehicle. You won't see them pull out the light of a vehicle. Those are the things they can just access and just take it to the market. And no one is asking question, where are these parts coming from? Where did you get them? They just tell you, here I want to sell, and people are buying.
Okay, so let me just pause you there.
Yeah.
This issue of upgrading vehicles.
Yeah.
Do you think that's contributing to the problem? And if it is there a way one can mark the parts on these vehicles, like, for example, the Lexus SUVs, the Prados? Is this upgrade craze that people are so crazy about, is it adding to this problem, in your opinion?
No, it's not.
Is there a way you can mark the parts of your car so that when someone by chance cuts away with it, they are unable to sell it off successfully? Is there a way one can run around that?
The only way you can secure your spare part is when you go to engrave them, because brain box is a metallic object that you can engrave your name on it. the car controls, you can engrave your name on it. But upgrading of vehicle has nothing to do with this, because you're taking a 2010 model vehicle to turn it to 2015. So the part for 2010 are useless when they disengage them.
Oh.
Yes. If they remove a light of Lexus 2012 and then they want to sell the light, they buy maybe like 20,000 or 15,000. So it's of no use to them.
Even the bumpers,
yes, is of no use to them.
Is of no use to another
disengage
model.
Bumper of LX570 2012. You will price it in your hand for 10,000, and you are buying the one for 2022 to install in that vehicle. You're buying for like $1 million, $1,200,000, $1,300,000. You want to upgrade an 012 vehicle to 2022, you'll be spending about $5 million. So every part you're removing from here, they are no use anymore. So even if you bring them down to the market, you just press them anyhow, and they will go.
So engraving the parts that can be engraved.
Yes.
What parts are pretty much on a? What other parts do you think can be engraved? You know, to at least secure them. The transponder.
Yes, the brain box, the handles, the controls of the handles. All of that you can engrave them.
The controls at the door. How about that?
Yes, you can engrave them internally. Once you pull them out, you can write your name with engraving machine boldly.
The number of the
boldly. Even if you can put the number of the vehicle as well, or put the vehicle identification number. But if they still bring it to the market, sincerely, who will question them? Who is checking where they're selling this thing? So
so you can confirm that they keep even selling, even though some people have gone to the extent of engraving.
Yes, they can.
It's still sellable in the market.
Yes, it's still sellable.
So that's a problem. So let's thank you so much, engineer. But let's bring it home. We'll hear from SP Benjamin Hundein. He has mentioned a few things. There's a gap, obviously, in the black market of car parts. What's the State Police Command doing about this?
Don't forget that some people decide to sell their cars in parts. They'll say they want to butcher it. So most times these spare part dealers would hide under that excuse, like, especially like you said, that engraving. Many people don't engrave. So it's easy. I mean, for law, it's not, or in law, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. So I see transponder, like you said, I see it with a spare parts dealer. If I don't have concrete evidence that it was stolen, I can't just arrest it.
Even if it was engraved?
That's what I'm saying. That many people don't engrave.
They don't engrave. Okay.
Many people don't engrave. Oh, for cases where these things are engraved, we've had to arrest people. It has helped us to arrest people. But like most people don't do due diligence in other things, many people too don't engrave. So we know, we suspect, but since we can't prove, if the case goes to court, it will be thrown out.
How about just questioning people who carry engraved motor parts around the place?
That's what we do. And most times people will call and say police is just harassing people anyhow. We need to stop. You see, stop and search. That's a very touchy term. People don't like it. What stop and search are they doing? It has helped us a lot to identify stolen items. So we'll continue to do that. But still, more and more people need to do what they need to do so that it will be easy for us to apprehend culprits. All
right, gentlemen, thank you so much for stopping by. We look forward to having more of this conversation. This isn't just a Lekki problem. This is happening in other parts of the state and even nationwide. So we look forward to having more of these engagements and conversations. SP Hundein, Lagos is 767. Correct?
767 and 112.
767 112. I posted something on my Twitter page. Just save it on your phone if you're less busy. 767 112. God forbid, if it happens, you might be shaking so much that you cannot even type anything. But when you know 767 is saved on your speed dial, it helps a lot. But thank you so much, gentlemen. Security is a collective effort. So we want to encourage everyone to put in their efforts into securing their community. If you see something, speak about it, create a scene or make an alarm or something, or alert the security details around, and let's swing to action together because it's a together effort. Thank you for joining us on this important discussion. Stay safe, Lagos, and remember to always be proactive in securing your vehicles. Until next time, this is Lagos Talks, shedding light on the issues that matter.